This is Petra, the capital of the Nabateans, where my grandparents lived a long time ago. The Nabateans built the city.
In this vast cavern of rose-colored sandstone, these two cousins make their way to the entrance to the city of Petra. The capital of the Nabatean kingdom bears witness to the power and splendor of an ancient people long gone.
This column didn't exist before, and my great-great-grandparents helped build it.
Abdallah and Isa both grew up around these rocks and know their rich history. Petra reached its zenith in the 1st century and was an essential stopover on the Silk Road. Merchant caravans have now given way to buses of tourists from all over the world. On average, some 1 million visitors come each year. Several kilometers outside the city lies the village Seyhoun, where around 500 Bedouin families live. We meet Aida, who is preparing stuffed grape leaves. She used to share this meal with tourists when she still lived in her cave dwelling in Petra. Last December, she and her family were expelled from the site and can no longer return.
I'd much rather live in Petra than in this house. I don't like living here, but the government forced us to leave the site. The authorities told us that from now on, Petra is off limits to us.
And who do you live here with?
With my children and my son's wives.
Aida and her family were not the only victims of the police raids. 50 Bedouin families were evicted from the caves and had their belongings seized or destroyed. The Bedouin tribe makes up a majority of the people living in Petra. Isa and several of its members have gathered regularly since December. All are demanding compensation.
It was the Petra Tourism Authority that destroyed us. They brought in the police, who used tear gas on us. Now our children have to get permission to go down to the site and earn a bit of money to buy food for dinner.
If they had warned us or given us any notice, we would have moved our goods. They destroyed everything. The police put me on their bus and the young people were put in prison. They took our goods and bulldozed everything.
The Bedouin tribe had been asked to leave Petra following the 1994 agreement signed with the late King Hussein. The deal stipulated that the Bedouins would leave in exchange for government housing. But 30 years on, the tribe continued living in the caves. Authorities explained that this is what led to their eviction in December.
This is contrary to the laws of the Department of Antiquities and the UNESCO guidelines to which Petra is affiliated, which is the need to find alternative housing and economic activities for the local community.
Some 39 families still live in the caves around Petra, but they've been relocated from the main city to the outer regions. It's here where we meet Hasna and her family, forced to live in degraded living conditions where access to drinking water has been cut off.
They cut off our water supply on the king's orders. So we collect polluted spring water. But we'd rather drink polluted water than leave.
Not only has housing become more restrictive, but working conditions as well. Some of the Bedouins were accused of charging tourists extra to access certain viewpoints. Authorities responded by mandating people working in the tourism sector apply for a special permit. These are granted on a limited basis and acts as a means to control the flow of Bedouins on the site. But still, for many visitors, the Bedouin identity is central to the charm of Petra.
The Bedouin and the Petra are connected. I think they're connected in the history of Jordan and the character and how Jordan was developed.
For now, this community remains in their ancestral home. unsure of what their future holds, if and when they'll be evicted from their caves. Isa believes without the Bedouins, Petra would be but a shadow of its former self.
The Bedouins are the soul of Petra. If there are no Bedouins, Petra will no longer have a soul. It would feel like this region is as good as dead.
While tourism is the main draw today, it may just be a double-edged sword that will prevent Bedouins from living in these caves ever again.